Okay, so it's day 2 here with Lily, our 7-year-old baby mare. A couple of things I want to talk about here from yesterday. She came and she was a little bit pushy. She's done lots of different things wrong. She couldn't lunge, and we got a good, good start on that yesterday. But one of the things I noticed here now is that she's kind of gone from being a little pushy and a little bit not worried about too much at all to, now she's kind of overreactive. As you can see her running around now, like I haven't really asked her to run around. She's just doing it because she's a little bit worried about things. But often this is what's going to happen when you start taking a horse that's quiet and you don't really, and there's never really been asked to do anything. Like if he's just a horse that's just doing stuff that they want to do and they never really get their energy brought up, they kind of just go where they want and they push all over whoever they want. They're okay when that happens, but as soon as somebody starts asking them to move their feet, then they kind of get a little bit resentful over it and then start getting worried about it. And this is just natural. So I'm sure she'll, she's going to start getting better as the days go through here. So, but that's just one thing I've noticed here. So we'll just start off today. I'm just using a flag today to get it to move instead of using the dressage whip, which there's no difference. It still has to mean the same thing. So I like the fact that she's moving around there. She's kind of got her nose to the inside here, kind of looking at me. Her inside ears in here looking at me. I'm just going to same thing. Whenever I ask her to go, I want her to go. I want her to speed up a little bit. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean she has to go into a canter. It just means that she has to go faster than what I'm asking her, or what she already was, excuse me. So, good. So you see there, I clucked at her and she moved forward. So I want to get her, eventually here, we're getting better. I want to get her to where she'll canter around the whole, the whole round pen, which she's done right there. Almost. See if she can make it all the way around here. There, that's the first time. Step over here and let her have a rest. Show her that that's what I wanted. So that's the very first time in the training that she's made an effort to canter the whole way around the round pen. So we're starting to win there. Starting to get good results there. And that just come from being consistent yesterday and making sure that when I clucked that she kept going. So now she's understanding that, I just got to go up the gate or go faster and then keep going at that speed. See, she's got a little bit worried about this here. I'm just going to ask her to come over here. I'm going to see if she'll come in here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start doing a series. I kind of want to test to this side. Good, there, she sped up. Let's see if we can get her to canter around the whole way. Pretty good there. Oh, she almost did it. So again, this flag means the same thing as a dressage whip or a stick and string, whatever it might be, or a leg, or a spur. Whenever I wave it, it means speed up, but it doesn't necessarily mean she has to be scared of it. So it's kind of like your spur. Just because you put your spur on them and ask them to move their body over, it doesn't mean they have to be resentful of it. Good. So you'll see how she's quartered, where she's standing right now, she's kind of closer to facing towards the camera than to me over here. And eventually I'm going to get that fixed up. And this will happen a lot on horses like this. She necessarily doesn't want to look at you out of her right eye. But eventually as the groundwork goes through, I'm going to see if I can... No, see, she's not ready to go kind of... I'm just going to now do, so I'm going to now start doing a series of direction changes. See, she got mixed up there. I'll just go over and block her off. Step over here in front of her and ask her to... Oh, she got a little worried there. There we go. Not bad. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the hook and on here today, or the catch and exercise. I think, you know, she was actually pretty good in the round pen, in her pen today, and she doesn't mind coming up to the gate. But the only thing I noticed was when I walked in there, she just kind of got a little bit worried about whether I was going to do something to her to make her run away, or so. That was good. Sped her up a little bit. Good. Come back this way. Good. So I want to stop her on this right side. So you notice when she comes in that way, she'll come around and she automatically comes and looks at me out of her left eye instead of her right eye. So that's exactly what she done last time. So see here, she's a little bit, I'm just going to chase her back this way. I don't care that she turned against the fence there. I'm more worried about, I'm just going to practice this here. And I want to be able to take the pressure off her, and I'll drive her away again. So this is how I kind of start to help this. When they start anticipating the turn, this is a good one to be able to do too, is like when you step over in front of them, or before you step over in front of them, excuse me, if they start kind of anticipating turning in, you can do I guess you can bait them into it, or you can ask them to come in like this and then send them off again before they actually come in. So then when they start coming in, again, you'll have to balance this, but when they start coming in, then they'll start thinking, well, maybe I'm going to have to go again. So they won't want to come all the way back around. They'll be kind of preparing themselves, and then obviously if you get to the point where you've sent them off enough that they're not wanting to come in all the way in, well, then you're going to have to change directions and make them go the other way, because, you know, they're obviously going to have a little bit of trouble finding the right answer. So you're going to have to balance it a little bit and get them to where they'll eventually start just turning in there and stopping wherever you want them to. So now I'll just kind of step over here and see what she does. So she kind of come back in that way. So she started to face kind of more over to her right again, which she wanted to look at me out of the left eye. So I might just, there. So see the difference here this time? Instead of like stepping over in front of her and asking her to come right in and face me at, say, a 90-degree angle, I've actually let her stand or face kind of at a 45 away from me. So she's come off the fence like she's supposed to, but she's facing that way a little bit. So she's almost forced to look at me out of her right eye. And that's, and I say forced, I don't mean forced. She's the only option she's really got, other than her spinning back around and facing that way, which if she does, I'm going to chase her off again. But her only option is, when she come in, is to just stand there and look at me out of the right eye. So she starts getting more comfortable with that. You can see she licked her lips just there, and you know, so she's starting to get pretty good. I'm just going to walk up to her here. See, she's a little bit worried about that. I'll just bring her back in. So these are the things she's starting to get worried about here. I just want to be able to walk up to her. See, she's not allowed to turn against the fence. I'll go around here one more time here, or whatever it takes, 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, and I'm going to get her set up again. I'm going to put her back where she was, which is right there. See, now she's starting to think that when I put pressure on her, she's trying to take off again, or she needs to go somewhere. So now I'm just going to, I just want to go up to her. Good. Right there she looked at me, so I took the pressure off her again. So I'm going to step over in front of her, there. Yeah, I just want to stop her. No heels. She's only allowed to look at me with her eyes. So when I walk up there, she's not allowed to. So this is, you know, it's pretty good that this horse is making all these mistakes because, you know, she is a little bit worried about things, and you do have, there, no. So now we got to the point where she's not 100% willing to be in here with us, is she? So that's a little bit better. And, you know, I could look at this some other way and go, oh, she's scared of the flag or whatever. I don't care. Like, if I want to carry the flag up there and touch her, I should be able to do it. See, she's dropping her head there, which is good. She's kind of telling me, this is how horses will tell you whether they want you to be near them. So, like, I'll do this a lot with horses that haven't been touched very much, or are hard to catch. You'll see this same thing happen. Now, I would bet, you know, I think they use some grain or bread or something to catch this horse. And a lot of people, I know, were growing up in Australia, a big thing was to use bread to be able to catch horses. Every time you go out there with a loaf of bread or a couple of pieces of bread, they'd come running. It's kind of like a grain bucket, but it's a mask too, which means, you know, it's covering up the problem, because the only reason they're food motivated. And I think I think this horse's owner may have mentioned something to me about that she does use, you know, she does use something like that to catch her. So, but I like the fact that when I walked away from her, that she come up to me. So, you know, that's encouraging. But all I'm doing right now is just kind of building her confidence again and building some sort of trust with her, because she's a little bit worried. She's looking at the flag behind me. See, that's what's kind of making her a little funny about it, but that's all right. She's still got to handle it, because she's going to get that right near her. Here we go. Good girl. So now I got to pat her a little bit. So I'll just pat her a little bit here, and then I'm just going to walk away again. Now she's starting to be a little better. Now I'm able to go up and catch her. I didn't want to just walk up with a halter before, you know, when she was acting a little bit funny, when I would just walk away from it. When I would walk towards her, she'd just walk away, because that was kind of her telling me she didn't want me to be near her. So no matter what you're carrying, whether it be the flag or a halter or whatever, I remember growing up, lots of little stories of, oh, just hide the halter behind you, or, oh, I can't catch him until, I'll go catch him and then you bring the halter. Lots of little things like that where, you know, that was, obviously I was young and didn't know very much about horses, and every day they teach you something new. But now that I've learnt more about kind of reading their body language and the way that they look, I think I'm a lot better off. So, but we've got a court now, so we'll start off with the next step. So just like every other day, we start off with on the first step, and the first step is just throwing the lead rope over or getting her comfortable with the lead rope. So all of these would be comfort exercises. We just want to get them comfortable with things, or accepting. And she's pretty good at this today. She's not moving her feet. Remember yesterday, you know, she moved her feet around and she got some worry. I'd like to see her start dropping her head down a little bit, but she's still just a tad bit worried about things. I mean, I'd like her to loosen her lips up a little bit, lick her lips, or take a deep breath. She's kind of standing up there almost like holding her breath. So, you know, when they do that, you just keep going, and, you know, it could be a number of things. It could be the lead rope hitting her on the other side and seeing it out of that left eye or whatever, but she's just going to have to get used to it, because it's going to help her here in the long run. Just waiting for a sign of relaxation here. And this takes, usually the first couple of days takes the longest, and then they work it out pretty quick that it's not a big deal. So there. She kind of started to lower her head just a little bit, so I'll take it away, go up and rub her, change sides here. Again, she just move her head over there to kind of block me out of there, so I couldn't get past. I just move her head out of the way and go back to doing what I needed to do. So she's pretty decent with this today. I mean, there's still a little bit of flinch in there. You see her head's up, and she's kind of got her ears back, looking at what's behind her. There, she's kind of cocked her hind foot there. Good girl. So a little bit on this right, she's kind of a little bit flinchy, but better. Big improvement on yesterday. So start going down around the legs a little bit. Oh, now we've found a spot that she doesn't like. So the whole idea about this is to find the spots on their body that they're not 100% happy with us touching. So right now, see, remember when she was having, when Paulette, the owner, was having trouble getting this mare to, she's licking her lips there, which is a good sign. Good girl. So remember when she was having trouble lunging her around, she kind of acted the same way, didn't she? She ran backwards. Her answer to, oh no, get it away from me, or I don't want to do it, is just run backwards. And she gets a relief from that, or she has in the past got a relief from that. But you got to just keep, excuse me, you just got to keep doing what you want to do until they stop moving their feet and relax. So right there, I just went down around her legs for the first time, and she wasn't great with that. So we just need to do more and more of this. Much better there. And the more you can wrap this lead rope around her legs or anywhere on her body, the better off you are. So that's why I like these halter and lead ropes. That this rope is a lot like a yachting rope. It's got a lot of feel, and it's got some weight in it, so you can throw it over. It's not like a lighter, some of the lighter ones you buy from your local feed store or something that typically don't fit very good, and the lead ropes aren't heavy enough to be able to get it all the way over. They're much better on that side. So I might just try here, I might just use this opportunity to get her to do some disengaging. Or see right there she ducked her shoulder over, and there, much better. There, much better. So she pushed her shoulder over on me, so I basically just drove her out. I wanted to drive that rib cage away from me, because if they're dropping their shoulder over, that means they're really, really tight here in the rib cage, and I talked about that on the first day yesterday, but you know, I want to make sure that I get rid of that, because I don't want that shoulder coming over here. And the way that I do it is I just drive the rib cage away. And she's a little bit overreactive here to me twirling the lead rope. She's much better there. Blocking me off there. There. So right that time when I kind of picked my hand up, I basically had my hand in a position, whereas if she drove over on top of me, I can bump her out of the way, or the lead rope is soft here between my hand and where the snap is. I don't want to be pulling on her nose, but there was no tension there. So because I just basically drove, you can see here, see how she's kind of stepping her shoulder away from me, and she's got that leg, inside hind leg, crossing all the way over, and this body is all the way here is soft. Soft on the lead rope there. And the more I pick this lead rope up, the more I should be able to get that hind end away from me. So that was a good opportunity to be able to do that. I'm going to try and lunge her off a little bit here. not move my feet, get her to move her feet. So that's, I want to show her that whenever I send her out there, if I ask her to stop, she might have to keep going again. So anytime she stops on her own, I'm just going to keep it going. It's when I ask her to move her hind end around, which like right now, she's thinking about going forward, so I'll stop her. Right there, she took a couple of steps towards me, so I'll drive her back. So now obviously what I do on the right, all that flicking of the head there is kind of like a little bit of frustration, and that'll go away. I'm gonna put her to work enough now today, so she is gonna think that that stuff there's not cool anymore. So right here she's backing up because she thinks if I back up, he's not going to go to where I don't want him to be, and that's around here. So right here, same thing. I want to make sure she doesn't dive her shoulder over in front of me, or onto me, I should say. And I want to make sure, right here, see, she's going backwards thinking that. So I'm not asking her to lunge here, I'm asking her to move her hind end around, and she's there. So now, I'm in the position I need to be here. There. See, I want to wait till this rib cage gets soft. This hind end is moving around, but I want to make sure that her rib cage is soft before I let her quit, because horses only learn from the last thing that they do before they get a rest. Not quite, not quite. There, better. So you notice when I do stop, I give her, when I give her a rest, I don't ask her to come back on top of me. I just drop the lead rope and let her stand where she's at, because I want to encourage her to be able to stop and stand still and not move wherever and whenever I say. So you notice she's kind of gone all over the round pen here, which is okay because she's backing up all over the place. Eventually we're going to get to wherever we want to do it. We won't have to move very far because she'll be happy she'll understand. I just got to move my hind end around. So now I might step over here again. See right here, she's kind of pushing on me a bit, so I'm going to drive that rib cage away. There. Drive the rib cage away. So I'm using the end of my lead rope and I'm driving just in front of that flank area. So I'll step back over here and just let her sit there for a second, and then I'll talk more about that, because this is something I've worked out over time of working with lots of different horses. What seems to work for me is, I used to concentrate all about the hind end, just get the hind end to cross over. I was more worried about getting that inside hind foot to cross over in front of the outside hind foot than worrying about what the body was doing. So now I'm concentrating more on the rib cage. See right here, she's not wanting me over here, so I'm going to go back. Now she's getting a little more worried about me being over here. So I'm just going to stay here for a second. Remember, I'm going to stay in a spot where I can be safe, but I want to make sure her nose is tipped towards me. And this is why I spend so much time trying to get this body soft, because when I do get back here, I want to be able to pull that nose and make sure that they're not going to stiffen up here and have a chance to kick me. Just waiting for her to stop here. See, every time she stops is good, but she's kind of overreactive. See right here, she's pulling on me a little bit. I'm not really asking her to do anything right now. I'm not saying. I'm not saying to move. See here? She got worried about me going up beside her here. Because I bump her nose out of the way, she gets a little bit resentful and worried. She's like, oh, number one, I don't like you doing that to me. Number two, what are you doing to me? See right here? Here, there, good. Now I can talk about what I was going to talk about. So when I ask her to move her hind end around, instead of concentrating on this area back here, I now concentrate more on this area right here, which would be the back of the rib cage and the hind end. So I want to get her to where, when I feel like when I look at this and aim at this area right here, that will allow this to get soft and this to move. Now if I was to come up here, I'd be asking the front end to move over. So that's why I'm still asking this hind end. And if she I'm going to lunge her out here a little bit, around here, get her back out in the middle a little bit. Now if she was to run a shoulder over on top of me, like this, I would just try and hit that area with the end of my... There, so see how it still drives the hind end away, but it allows her to be soft. See how she's overreacting here, and that's fine. I'm just going to keep at it. She needs to understand that when... The only reason she's getting hit, there. So now when I do swing my lead rope, I can see her starting to pick up that rib cage, or soften that rib cage. See, now she's trying to cut me off. So she needs to understand. There, oh, there, much better. So that time there, she was soft here in my hand. She wasn't like turning her head right around here like this to stop me from doing it. She had her head where I needed it to, nice and soft. The shoulder was up and her rib cage was bent. She was moving around softly. So if I do that enough times, she's going to get better at this and understand that when I get over here, I'm not asking her. See, she's a little bit worried. So I'll just stay here, there, much better. Much better there, much better. Good. Much better. I'll just stay here till she does it, and then I'll give her another rest. Then we'll try it again. So eventually I'll do it enough times to where she doesn't become as overreactive about it. So now she's good. I like that. I like that she let me walk up there that time. Now we can start. There, much better. So that's pretty good on the left side. I like the fact now that I can walk all the way back here and she's still standing in the one spot. She licked the lips there, and I like the fact she's kind of dropping her head down a little bit. Now I'll walk up this side again. Right here, see, she's trying to block me off, so I'm just going to push her head over and start over here. So again, see, she's pushing on me there. I'm going to drive that rib cage out. Again, she's pushing on me again, get the rib cage out. And you might hit her on the hind end every once in a while, and that's fine. There, I like that much better. Right here. See, right here. So the easiest way to, if you can't work it out, just aim for the different swirls in that flank area. Is what I try to do. If I can get just a little bit in front of that, I'm good too. Now I'm just going to stay here for a little bit. See, I'm not pulling on the lead rope, I've just got my hand up there. See, now there. That's what I like, is when that whole body comes out. Now I don't want her to run a shoulder out that way, but I'd much rather her have a shoulder kind of going to the outside and moving, everything soft and moving around, than her just being stiff here like this and trying to push a shoulder into me. See when she stops moving her front feet, so when she gets stiff and drops her shoulder in towards me. There. That's when you'll find out. I mean, if she's gonna she moves her front feet and is being soft and stuff with the front feet, her whole body's typically going to be soft. It's not really, the stiffness in the front feet isn't really coming from the front feet though, it's coming from the rib cage. So right here she's backing up. I'm not going to worry about that too much. That's just her being a little bit worried and a little bit mixed up. And I'm just going to concentrate on the job I'm trying to do. Now, of course, if she's running backwards and rearing up, you've got another problem on your hands, but it's not that. It's just the more I walk up here and get into position, the better she's going to be. Good girl. There. There, see how she's starting to pick that shoulder up and move over there like that? That's exactly what I'm asking her to do. Right here, she's trying to cut me off, so I'll be ready for that. There. See, now if she feels anything on this whole, there, I like that. Now if she feels me bump on that or even touch her with it, she knows, oh, I've got to get that shoulder out of the way. So for today, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think she's done very well. So, you know, obviously spending a little bit more time trying to get that rib cage softened is going to help me along, you know, further along in the training. So we'll just move on to the next step. So the next thing, the biggest thing we had trouble with, or the owner sent, was that she couldn't really get Lily lunged around. So, you know, I think by just fixing a few little things and showing Lily that when you say go forward, it means go forward. See, this is the problem she had. She'd stop and face her and rear up. So I just whack her on the bum every time she stops and say, hey, when I swing it, I mean go forward. And I don't want to have to obviously discipline her that much, but I also need her to understand what's right and wrong. Like, what's wrong is you stopping and backing up and thinking that you don't have to do it. Now she's here, good girl. So she was thinking about moving forward then, so I took the opportunity to give her a rest because she was doing the right thing. So I don't want to stop her when it's her idea right now. I want to stop her when it's my idea. Eventually we can meet in the middle and she'll understand, but always she has to keep going until I say. Like, she's got to wait for my command or my gesture, whatever it might be, to do what I ask her to do. She just doesn't do it when she decides she's going to do it, because when you let them do that, that's when it turns into them running backwards and rearing up, and you're the one running around, you moving your feet, and they're not moving theirs at all. I'm going to try and send her out a little bit here further on the end of the lead rope. So she's 14 foot away from me right now on the end of I've just got the end of it. We're having no problem. She's not pulling on the lead rope. You can see every once in a while she'll look to the outside, but nothing major. She's not pulling me around. She's continually moving around in the one spot. Try and get her to go around me without me. So I don't know if we can get her to go all the way around me today, but it's definitely a lot better than what it was. Not too bad. Pretty good. So now we're starting to get more of an understanding that when you... Oh, very good there. See, when I put my hand up and suggested, I was at about this position right here, like maybe where I would be if I had a, excuse me, if I had the rein in my hand, like right here, and she just moved. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. That's how responsive I want her to be from my hand, either my hand gestures or, of course, off the lead rope. Very good. Now I'll ask her to go back this way. Not quite as good this way, but she'll get there. Not bad. There was a thought of moving. It was just a little bit kind of delayed. It was like, oh, I'm not really moving now. But it'll get better. Good. Very good that way. Oh, she got mixed up there. It's all right. She was trying to do something. It wasn't the right thing, but she was at least trying to do something. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt there. There, see, she just a little bit worried, a little bit mixed up when I picked up that lead rope. She was still kind of facing the opposite way. Like here she's facing like she could go, so this is hard for her. Very good that time, much better. So I'm not going to ask her to go around fast. I just wanted to keep going. Look at that hind end. Now we'll see how we go here. Very good. So I think we've got starting to get the lunging under control, so we're not going to hound at her all day with just lunging her around there normally. I'm going to give her a rest there and we'll move it up. We'll start moving it up a step. So once I get them to where they can lunge around me like that, I like to make things a little bit harder for them. So I'm going to ask her to lunge around me like this. So I like to call this, you know, a bit of a spiraling exercise. So, you know, we've taught her to disengage or get her rib cage soft. And we're also taught her to lunge right now. So now I'm just going to try and step in a little bit further towards her. So I'm going to take that big circle into a small circle here, get that rib cage soft. There. So I'm going to take the lunge into softening the rib cage. So a big circle into a small circle. So I'll let her lunge around me. So I'll let her go out there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to change hands with my lead rope, and I'm going to step over here and try and almost step towards her hind end here. There, that's what I want. I want that to be stepping out there. She's kind of... Let's change back with my hands here real quick. She's getting a little bit mixed up here, so she's not quite ready for the next step after this one, but she's going all right. Lunge her around me again. So big circle. So I'll keep my hands in the same position now. So I'm just going to walk in here, step to that hind end, get her to soften the rib cage, small circle. So this would be like transitions, I guess, in a way, in anything you're doing. So it would be upward, downward transitions from like a trot to a walk to a trot, trot to a canter, trot, walk, stop, back up, all of them. So this would be basically equivalent to that. All we're doing is moving forward. Now we'll transition down softly, stay soft in the rib cage, and move that hind end around. Now as we get into the riding, obviously this is going to come into play. Very good, good girl. So that's a great exercise to be able to do, you know, for your horses once you've taught them. But as you notice, we taught her everything separately. Now we're starting to put them together. So we taught her to get soft in the rib cage and disengage her hind end and stay soft all through the body. Then we taught her to lunge, and we got both of them very good on the ground first. Now we're putting them together. So now the next thing we did yesterday was we touched on a little bit of change in directions. So I already have taught her to move her shoulders across here. So disengage the hind end there, get it to yield away from me. Now ask her to bring her shoulders across again. Okay, so she can do that. She can lunge around me. She can also get soft in the body and move that hind end away into a smaller circle. Now I'm just going to change my hand and ask her to bring that shoulder back through. So now we've got 3 movements in one. So she's lunging around me. Now we'll ask her to get her body soft in the ribs. Keep going. Don't let her turn until you think she's right. Change hands with your lead rope. Now just stand in the one spot and drive the shoulder across. Very good. Good girl. So again, lots of these are going to help when you get on to ride. Fasten that back end up, baby. Now, there, very good. So you notice her mind now and her demeanor, she's not as worried about things. All I'm doing is just showing her that I can move her feet. And then when you start getting better at this, you can change hands before you start asking her to spiral, small circle, soft in the front end. Then you can just, there, very good. So all of this stuff is great. I'm going to change hands, but the reason I can get all of this done is because I took the time. Get that one end out of the way, baby. There, very good. I took the time to get them all good before I even asked her. Oh, back up a bit. Don't worry, baby, you're all right. So I took the time of getting them all good separately before I actually tried to put them all together. And that's where we all go wrong, I guess, in the past. You know, you're thinking ahead of what you want to do, and we all really want to do all the cool exercises, all the cool stuff, like whether it be stopping or jumping or you know, whatever it might be. We want to canter instead of walk. And you know, the thing about training horses is, or having a good horse or a reliable horse that you can go do whatever you want on, is if you do all the little parts good and get them good before you go to the next thing, when you start putting them all together for more advanced exercises, i.e. like we just done there, your horse is going to understand them a lot easier. He may not be great at them straight away, but he's going to understand the concept. So it's very important to be able to get all your steps good before you move on to the next one. So now to finish off today, I'm not going to go too much further with you know, what we've done today, but I'm going to introduce the flag to her today. So we're going to finish off the exercise with, the day with a desensitizing or a you know, getting her comfortable exercise. So right now, you see, she's just running around worrying about this flag. Now, I got her good with the lead rope, or decent with the lead rope, and you know, she's still got a long way to go. But the flag now is something that's really worrying her, and all I want to do is rub her with it and show her that it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to hurt her. But she's just running around crazy now, so I took the opportunity, and you've got to be careful of this, but I took the opportunity to put it on her back and rub her with it, so she understands that it's not going to, she doesn't have to run for it. So I'm just going to rub her here with it. All I intended on doing when I walked up was just let her sniff it and become comfortable with it, but she just started running around. So of course you know, obviously I didn't want to put it up in front of her face, because, you know, that would scare her and she'd be dragging me around. So I'm just going to rub her with it there for a second. Now I'm going to take it away. Now I might be able to step back here a little bit and let her sniff it a little bit there. So when she reaches out to sniff it and decides she wants to touch it or look at it, then I'm going to take it away. It builds confidence. She's a little intrigued by it. She's like, what is that thing? I'm not real good with it. I'm a little bit worried about it actually, but I might want to smell it. So every time she gives me an idea or there. So now I'm letting her touch it and sniff it a little bit, and I'll just take it away. So I build up the confidence enough for her to reach out and sniff it, and now she's licking the lips, so I'll just take it away again. So first I built her confidence, and then I gave her, you know, let her inquisitive, when she was comfortable enough and confident enough, I let her inquisitive mind then reach out there to touch it, and I took it away a few times until I realized, you know, she was okay with it. Now I just let her, it's rubbing on her nose, I'll move it back and forth a little bit, and this doesn't take very long. Like she's way better with it now. So, you know, I just want to make sure, you just want to make sure they're good, especially around their nose and that. So now I'll go back to her back. See, she moved off, but nowhere near as bad as she was. So I'm just going to rub her with it till she stops. She stopped there, so now I'm just going to, see, when you get, that's the thing, when you get back behind these horses or back behind their eye, they start to get worried about things, because they, excuse me, they dropped her head down. They do it because they can't see it as good, and they're worried about something being up behind them. So this is where, as the steps go on, you know, she's going to get better with things like this. So every time I just pick it up, put it on her and take it off. I'm just going to get her comfortable with this today. So this, again, we're just going to end up with, you know, end up with the day, end the day with an okay, I'm okay with it, just kind of relaxed, desensitize her with stuff. There. It's all right. Just showing her here that it's not going to hurt her. There. So it's getting a little bit better here. See how she's creeping towards me here? Now this is close enough. I don't want her to be any closer to me. If she does, I want to have my hand up here ready so I can block her away from me or move her away from me if she does jump towards me. Good, very good. So rub her with it. Take it away. So again, this horse is a little bit funny about things on her right side. So I started with the right side, just so happened there, very good. She licked the lips. Whenever she does that, I'm going to take it away and give her a chance to think about it. Lowering her head now. Like I want to get her to where she'll just put her head down and whenever I'm touching her with it and she doesn't worry about any of it. So I'm just going to rub her with it today. Just rub her kind of all over, see if I can get it down. She's not too fond of things around her legs, so might get her a little bit down behind the legs, back up to the withers. Much better. Not as worried now. She blinked just there. She hasn't raised her head up in the air like she was. I mean, that would probably, for this particular horse, I think where she's standing right now would be more of a natural stance. Like she's never going to be one that's going to drop her head down on the ground, so you can't expect her to have her head way down there all the time. Now her head's up in the air now. Yeah, just rub her on that side. So now I'm going to go back to this side and finish off here. Much better. A little bit jumpy, but nothing bad. So I'll just rub her with it, rub her all over, finish off the day like this. Just wait for her to relax a bit more. And she has got her hind foot cocked, but I'm not sure that's what is really, you know, what I'm looking for right here. I'm looking for more of a, you know, relaxation of the head or the lips or, you know, underneath the belly. I don't know if she's still quite ready for that, but a little bit jumpy, but nothing major. So that's just something for us to work on. So, you know, for today, I think we're going to stop there because she doesn't, you know, yesterday we got her pretty hot and sweaty, and a lot of it was because of she was anxious and worried and all that. And today she's kind of got a bit of a sweat up, but she's in a good frame of mind today. So I'm big on trying to finish up when you got them in a right frame of mind and they're not worried about something and they're not, you know, they're not thinking something's bad. They're thinking everything's okay. So we'll leave it there and we'll pick it up again tomorrow.